It's Wednesday night. I'm Herman Phillip. We are Opinionated. Remember, Opinionated is the only sports show where your opinion matters. And of course, in the wild world of sports, in case you missed it, LeBron and the Lakers realize that Milwaukee is not a joke. And in football, if you're a Barcelona fan right now, you're panicking. There's some investigation going on, and we're not sure whether or not you'll come out on top. Right now, if we end the season, give Jude Bellingham every award in the season. He's the best player in the world. And of course, we realize Arsenal actually won a game against Man City. They're still partying. They could care less. Give them the season today, and let's move on. Tonight's very special guest is a very old friend of mine, and he wears many hats in Vieux Fort. And tonight he's wearing the PRO of the Southern Equestrian Association, Mr. Choix Melchoir. Choix, welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
It's been far too long.
It has been a little while. Thank you so much for having me. And on behalf of the Southern Equestrian Association, we just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our side of things and what's happening and what we're planning. So as we get into it, a good night to your viewers and your listeners here at home and abroad, wherever they may be. Thank you for the opportunity.
What people don't know is the last time we met, I was on that seat and you were in this seat. But of course, it was lovely how things play out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sure, let's tell me about how did you first get involved in equestrian sports?
I have been around the equestrian society for a long time. I mean, I have friends, relatives, siblings who were involved. Although I wasn't always directly, I was always the one watching. Now, because I love horses, but I stay my distance. I know I'm not the best jockey, so I stay away. But what really happened the last year leading into this year was I was approached by some of the members of the Southern Equestrian Association, which has been around for a long time. And they, for some reason, decided he can assist, and they know that I'm a community person that, if you ask me to assist, as long as I can, I would do almost anything for my community. So they approached me and they said, hey, listen, we want to revive the association and all of that. And I said, as long as I can assist, I will. But what really got me on board was in March, when we had that really nasty period in Vieux Fort, when we had the killings and so on. And we all were affected. We all were affected and impacted by the killings, the crime that was happening, the crime wave, if you want to call it that happened in Vieux Fort. And we came together and said, as young people and as an association, what can we do to help the situation? So we said, what we do is horse racing. That is our field. That is what we're interested in. Let's do something that's going to have a positive impact on the community. We're not the police, so we cannot go searching people and searching for illegal firearms and so on. We're not the politicians. We cannot put policy in place. You understand? What we are people who could bring the community together through what we do. So hence the reason. And we previously had races, but of course that was affected for a number of reasons, inactivity, COVID and all that kind of stuff. So we decided let's put a race together to bring our community together, and that's how I really got back into the Equestrian Association.
Explain for me the love affair between Vieux Fort and equestrian/horses. As going back to you being a little boy in Vieux Fort.
The thing is, I mean, it is so well entrenched that it's even way older than me. So I met it there. I always knew that way. I mean, the place that most people now refer to as the Kakabef, when we grew up, we knew it as the base. There were always horses. And there was always the excitement around horses and about horse racing and so on, and on the beaches as well, But the thing is, there were races, formal and informal races. So if you find guys who just say, okay, Sunday, I'm taking you. You have your horse, I have my horse, and we're just going to go on the base and race, and then people just come and see and support. And then it got organized where the association came in and all of that, and we had formal races and all that kind of stuff. So it has always been around. I've always known, growing up in Vieux Fort, horses, they're not wild, they own, but because Vieux Fort is laden with vast flat land, so the horses are all over the place. So you find horses on the beach on their own, you find horses on the field, you find horses on the base, you find them in the Beausejour area. So we just know of horses being around all the time, and people riding horses. You're a young boy and an older man passing for horse, he just pull you up and put you on the back of his horse, give you a ride to where you're going. So this has been entrenched in Vieux Fort for a very, very long time. And So as far as back as the history go, I don't even know. I just know from the time we grew up, we always knew horses and we're passionate about it, and it has never really stopped. So that's what I know of horses in Vieux and so on, and I know so many people who are involved. In fact, there are even some families we know. When you speak of that family, you know them for horses. You know those family for horse riding. The whole family is involved, from the mother, the father, and all of them are just involved. So it's been something that we've had a very, very long time.
So is it like a rite of passage and all young Vieux?
It was a rite of passage. It is still a rite of passage for a lot of young Vieux and so on. I mean, among the other things that we do, we like to think that we're very athletic and we're really into sports in many different disciplines, but horse racing is definitely up there with the other sporting activities.
Was it 4 blackouts in a row? I mean, that should say something.
Yeah, that definitely says something.
What are the basic principles of equestrian sports for those of us who don't know or are familiar with it?
Well, for a lot of people, they don't know. I mean, honestly, a lot of young people get involved in horses because it's around. They see it and they know it, and they get to know it through osmosis, if you want to call it that, because you see other people do it and you do it. We're not on a professional level just yet, but a lot is involved in equestrian activities. Like, I mean, you have to learn how to handle your horse. You have to learn how to feed your horse. It's not just a case of you just take a horse and you go tight. You have to know the medication to give your horses. You don't have to know how to break a horse in terms of, because a lot of the horses are raised, and because again, Vieux has all that pasture and that flatland that the horses just go out and run and so on. You have to know how to train your horse, which a lot of people don't know how to do, but a lot of the elders in the community know, and then they pass the skill on. And you know, it's not a textbook stuff for us. You just learn through apprenticeship, if you want to call it that. And so there's a lot of involved in that aspect of it. And though we've not had formal racetracks like the Garrison Savannah in Barbados and so on, but horse racing in St. Lucia has a long tradition. And when you go further into it, you hear people talking about, but my grandfather had horses. And then 100 years ago, people used to come to horse races and dress in the nice dandan, as you want to call it.
It's in the Sunday dandan, yeah, man.
You know, your Sunday best, and you come out and it was an occasion. You know, it was a special occasion to come out and see horse racing and support your team and so on. So there's a lot involved in it. But at this stage, we like to think we are the amateur stage of horse racing, but with the vision that we can be professional. We're professional in our approach, but we may not necessarily be professional in terms of the facilities we have and in terms of the financing and how we go about doing it.
Tell me about all the types of... Right now, I just think we function on horse racing, but are there other parts of equestrian that we are unaware of?
Yeah, there are a lot of other aspects of it. Some people are into equestrian, the industry really for... Some do it for the fun, some do it for the profit, some do it just for the love of horses and so on. You know, the tourists come and sometimes they want to do horseback riding. That's a big aspect of it. That's a business aspect of it. You have stables that do just that. There's breeding of horses that could bring income and so on. Okay, you could use horses in film for backup and all that kind of. So some people don't even think of it that way. You could use horses in marketing. You know, you show that even the St. Lucia Tourism Board could do tourism authority now that it is could use a lot more of that. Okay, so there's a lot about to it that a lot of people just don't know. Now those who are really into it are into it. Different people have the different sports, but people who are really into horse racing and into horses realize the value of horses. Horses are very intelligent animals, and even now in other what you call metropolitan countries, more developed countries, horses are being used now to assist people who are sick. There are actually horse farms where people are taken from the hospitals and brought onto a horse farm. It helps with their mental and physical well-being. And the quote is even that the interaction between horses and human beings have shown significant positive benefits for both species. You know? You
mentioned something earlier, and you said horses predate you and me, of course.
Yes.
You've noted that's already part of the culture. And then you also mentioned that we talk about Barbados and the Garrison, we talk about Trinidad, we talk about Jamaica. These places like us who started at the beginning, but for some reason, whereas theirs flourish, ours never seem to move to the next level. Any idea as to why?
From my angle, I'm thinking we've not put enough resources into it. That's one thing. And there are other sports that I think have taken the bulk of the resources that we put towards sports and so on. Maybe people didn't see the value of it, you know. I mean, of course, we're a small island, our resources are limited, so you'd think that, okay, if we think that we stand a better chance in football, we'd push more resources into football or into athletics or into cricket or whatever have you, and some sports might suffer. You know, there's some sports that, we play all kinds of sports in St. Lucia, but some of them naturally are not as popular, they're not as funded as some others, you understand? So I think that is what the case is. The thing is, even maintaining a horse can be expensive as well too. So you find there are people who are able to do it and others who are not able to do it. Now, if you don't have that interaction where the support comes from all around, you might find some people lagging. So sometimes you need to take care of your opponent. So if I have a stable, I have 10 horses, and the person next to me only has one, he's not able to really compete unless we decide, hey, let's do something cooperatively, collaboratively. Other than that, you know, I might look good, but then you suffering, and at the end, I will suffer as well because, you know, the spread is not the way it ought to be to allow both of us to grow.
While we can't change the past, we can look at it for, you know, for some key points. And what is your vision for the future of equestrian or Southern Equestrian in St. Lucia?
For Southern Equestrian, what we really looking to do is make a statement in terms of the possibilities that being in the industry could provide. We've got 2 young men from Beaufort who are now riding in Barbados, Garrison Savannah and all of that. You know, guys I know very well, you know, and so we're proud of that. However, we see that horse racing, for those who are enthusiastic about it, there are opportunities that could be had. I mean, one, you could become a jockey and probably race somewhere else, who knows? I mean, the Kentucky Derby is not out of it. You never know the possibility. One successful person could open up a whole industry for us. It could open up, you know, so many possibilities for us. So one of the things is we want to use that as a means of getting people, young men and women, off the streets. You understand? I mean, if that's what we do, that's what we want to promote. I mean, you might be into athletics, you might be into football, and you know, you bring people, young people that way. But we're into the equestrian industry, and we want to bring young people in and train them. I mean, if you get trained as a horseman, a horse lady, there are a lot of other disciplines that come with it. If you could take care of an animal, you could take care of yourself. Okay, so we want to give you the skill of taking care of an animal, knowing how to feed an animal, knowing how to manage it, you know, knowing how to cooperate with other people and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to it. And we as the Southern Equestrian, though we're not saying all of the things that we want to do, there's a short-term, a medium, and a long-term plan that we're looking at, and we're going to ensure that the young people of Beaufort especially, but the country by extension, will be taken care of.
What inspired the coming together and creating or revamping the Southern Equestrian Association?
What really, really pushed us, I mean, quite apart from the fact that, you know, the association has been around for over 20 years. And at various stages, it was dormant, other stages it was more active than others. But what happened in the last few months with the crime situation in Beaufort really got to us. It impacted us as a family, as a community. I mean, we all were impacted. And we said to ourselves, well, what can we do as an association? What can we do as community people? And we decided, you know, with what has happened, the least that we could do is create an event to bring our community together. So the event that's coming up on the 22nd of October, this Sunday, as we've entitled it, the Race on the Base, is really to show what is possible in Beaufort. We want to show that, hey, listen, the horse racing really is a metaphor, but the event is a catalyst. We want to show people what's possible, that our community is safe for the most part. We could bring people together. We could host community events. We could have good vibes. We could meet. We could have a fun time. And at the same time, we could look out for our young people and our people generally, you know, give them an outlet that, hey, listen, just like on Sunday, we were on the base and there were like 20 young men. And I mean, some of them, no disrespect to them, but some of them came the way they naturally are. Some of them disheveled, some of them, you know, bareback, some of them in their shorts and in the rags and stuff. But they came because they knew that we were going to be on the base. Some horses would be there, we'd be testing the track and all that kind of stuff. These guys could have been somewhere else for the 2-3 hours that we were there. They could have been finding themselves in trouble, whether directly or indirectly. So we're already seeing the impact that this thing is going to have. Some are coming out of curiosity. So if we could create that kind of event where we could bring the community together and create an event, and other associations, other social groups and so on could see that and say, hey, listen, those guys are doing something positive. Let's bring the community together. We're into athletics. Let's create a sports meet. Let's create a cricket competition. Whatever it is, let's do some arts and crafts or some drama, whatever, performing arts, and get people together, because as a community, we need to be more united than ever before, because I think this is one of the things that is going to change the community. We have just a few bad people who are causing the what's happening. But if you get a few more upstanding citizens, we could change the narrative. We could change the stigma.
As always, community first?
Yeah, community first.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.
For the best cricket updates, analysis, and an in-depth look at the sport around the world, tune in live to Winners TV every Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. for Cricket Nation, the only show dedicated to cricket in St. Lucia. From the nations to the clubs, the leagues, and the players, Cricket Nation is your window to the world of cricket. So be a part of the nation every Tuesday, live from 8:30 p.m. on Winners TV.
Having trouble with temperature in your home or establishment? Feeling uncomfortable and need some relief? Optimum Cooling would love to help. You deserve a contractor that is experienced, skilled, and affordable. Call Optimum Cooling today. We offer a wide range of all your HVAC needs. That includes maintenance, repairs, supply, installation, consultation, as well as any other refrigeration services, both domestic and commercial. At Optimum Cooling, we would love to meet with you to determine how we can help. Follow Optimum Cooling on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our website today. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to Winners Sports Beat.
For the most comprehensive sports news broadcast, tune in to Winners Sports Beat, weeknights at 7:30 p.m. Sports Beat features the latest scores, news highlights, and interviews that keeps sports fans informed on what's happening in sports. Winners Sports Beat captures the pulse of the sports world. Watch Sports Beat for exclusive inside information and breaking news on what's really happening behind the scenes. Sports Beat covers the big games, the big plays, and the big wins. Watch Winners Sports Beat weeknights at 7:30 p.m. with daily repeats.
Winners TV is proud to bring to you Strictly Football. 1 hour of exciting football action from around the globe, taking all the highlights from St. Lucia, the English Premier League, La Liga in Spain, Ligue 1 in France, the Bundesliga in Germany, and even the Jamaica Premier League. Follow your favorite teams. You don't ever have to miss a goal. Just tune in to Winners TV at 8:30 p.m. every Monday for all the weekend action and Thursdays for the week's updates. Winners TV brings all the action to you. It's Strictly Football, the action-packed highlight show, keeping you abreast with what's happening in the world of football. Winners TV is proud to bring to you Strictly Football. 1 hour of exciting football action from around the globe, taking all the highlights from St. Lucia, the English Premier League, La Liga in Spain, Ligue 1 in France, the Bundesliga in Germany, and even the Jamaica Premier League. Follow your favorite teams. You don't ever have to miss a goal. Just tune in to Winners TV at 8:30 p.m. every Monday for all the weekend action and Thursdays for the week's updates. Winners TV brings all the action to you. It's Strictly Football, the action-packed highlight show, keeping you abreast with what's happening in the world of football.
Opinionated Wednesday night. Choix Melchoir from the Southern Equestrian Association. It's almost a mouthful, by the way. I just want to mention that. Choix, as PRO, are there any misconceptions about the equestrian sports that you want to clarify? Because how do, we have a lot of young people who want to join sport because it looks attractive and sexy, but parents will be like, boy, that's horses,
Yeah, there are a few misconceptions because, when you don't know something, you just really don't know it. So, like any other thing, there are dangers involved, but with proper training, a horse is a majestic animal. It's also a very powerful animal. So with proper training and so on, you could master a horse and so on. There are not many dangers per se of riding. One of the things that could happen to you if you don't control your horse is that it could bolt. It could throw you off, whatever the case is. But that is not something we've had many cases of. And not just because that we did that professional, but we take our time to do what we're doing. We have young men who've been mentored by the older elders, if you want to call them that, the guys who've gone before us, and it's a process. Everybody wants to teach somebody else to ensure that they get better at what they do. It's a situation where you have great support among the community, and then it just helps.
What we saw on screen, we saw the young men racing at the base.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the title it's been billed as, and it's branded as Race at the Base. Before we even go on the name, why is it on the base and not the existing track for those who don't know? The available track, or is it available, the DSH track?
What we need to make some people understand, and it is a case where a lot of people don't understand it. The DSH track is a private entity, first and foremost. It's a private entity. So even if you want to use it, you cannot just walk into it and use it. You've got to have permission, first of all, because it's owned by a private entity. And if you don't get permission, you cannot use it. Okay? So that is just the case. We don't have an issue with DSH in and of itself. We would love to use it if it was offered to us. If we were allowed to use it, we would use it, quite possibly. But at the same time, what I need to explain to some people is DSH is a private entity. They're on one level. But we also have local horsemen who are probably not at that level just yet. But so what do? Do you ignore them? Do you ignore the guys who've been around for a long time and have always had horses and they want to ride and they want to get a place to express themselves? No, you provide for them as well. It's a phased approach. DSH has their agenda or whatever it is, and we cannot take that away from them. We were in communication with them. I know up to last year we had a meeting with a representative of DSH, and he explained to us why we would not be allowed to use the DSH track for whatever reason, which we cannot really go into here for whatever reason. But we said, okay, fine. But we tried to reach out. We had open communication with them. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of our own. Okay? We have to take care of our own. And what we had to do was go build a track for ourselves. And for the horsemen in our association who will not be able to ride at DHS. So that's basically what it is.
So we enter a different part, which I actually think is part of any evolution. Culturally, we appreciate what the base has been and what the base can do for us. It is ingrained in our society. However, as a PRO and looking forward, you must be trying to develop your product. Like you said, you have young athletes and you have assets that need to look towards the farm. Here's my question to you. You mentioned developing tracks, infrastructure. Where are we now and where do we need to be for you to get to where you want to go?
Like anything else, is resources. It's resources. We have the ambition, we have the drive, and I think it's shown based on what we've created in the last few months, from having absolutely nothing to now having a track that we could have a horse race on this Sunday. Okay, naturally we want to take our athletes, as you call them, our horse people, from one level to the next, so that we want to be able to create a horse race track just like DSH. But it has to be one that all local horse people could ride on. At this present time, we don't have that. So what we're going to do now, we're starting from scratch. Hey, listen, we're going to provide you with a track. We're going to keep working on that. We're going to build. Hopefully, we if the government sees it necessary or another investor comes and, we allow to use DSH, we will use that. In the absence of that, we've got to train our riders from that level to the next level until we could take our animals to the level that they think is sufficient to allow us to race in there, and then hopefully we can go regionally, internationally, whatever the case is. It's more a matter of not the willpower, but more or less the resources and the powers that be to come on board to see the value of what we're doing, to give the young people an outlet.
Okay, so resources aside, what is the demographic, the physical demographic for the South? Where does your range start and stop?
So for us, the Southern Equestrian Association, we like to think that we represent from Soufrière way back to Dennery.
To Dennery.
Yeah.
So canneries and
Cannery-
ancillary sucksault.
No, well, they would more be categorized with the northern
Okay.
part of the island.
So when you use, so knowing your range, what is it that you're looking for in terms of putting infrastructure, maybe not at a DSH level, in these various communities?
We may not be able to have a facility in every district. Now, you have different districts that maybe just have a small strip of land. Some people use the beaches, although we know that that is illegal by law. You're not supposed to ride a horse on the beach, all right? But
there's an act about that.
yeah, but I mean, some people get away with that, and we're not encouraging it anyways.
But so while it is it possible, and I'm not asking for anything, but that we can actually create an event for beach racing?
We can, but we will have to organize. We will have to get permission and schedule it in such a way that it doesn't affect anyone. And then close the beach for maybe a day or whatever the case is to have an event on the beach. Yeah, I think it's possible.
Okay, so when you talk about horses going to race, how are the horses identified or selected to race? Can anybody race? Can I just take my horse that's home that's been feeding on grass and I decide I want to race, or is there criteria for selecting the horse?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 3 different categories. So we've got thoroughbreds, half-breeds as we call them, and creoles. Okay, and that's how it's gonna be. So the creoles, as you know, we don't like to use that term, but I think it's something that people could understand.
Could you put a cost value to the horses, at least the range of the price of the horses that's sold for?
The range is so
I'm assuming that the creoles, or the categories, let's call it category C horses, would be significantly cheaper.
Yeah. Yes, as opposed to a thoroughbred.
So we're talking
$1,000,
$2,000, $3,000.
Okay, so if I'm buying a creole horse for you from you, I may look to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. A half-breed, twice as much. A thoroughbred, depending on who you're getting from and where you're getting from, whether on island or overseas, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. It is an expensive animal. It is an expensive animal. So.
And in terms of feed and veterinary and all that stuff?
And all of that is an additional expense. Now, the difference between a thoroughbred and maybe a creole horse is that a creole horse is more adaptable because, it's in its element here in St. Lucia, and you may be able to feed it on much more. Your options are varied because you could feed it locally. You could feed it on...
You can feed it grass behind the house.
Grass behind the house and, keep it out in the open and, horse pellets and whatever have you. But the thoroughbred, they're more prone to certain elements that we have here that they may not be used to. So simple things might get them sick, as opposed to the creole, which is a lot sturdier.
So you classify your races, well, your races are structured based on a class of horse?
On a classification, yeah. So we're going to have creole races, as I said, creole horse races, half-breed races, and then the thoroughbreds. But also we're going to have, as we get further into it, we have what we call the rumble, where we're going to have those horses against each other. The first in the different races, they're going to race against each other in what we call a rumble.
Okay, so we talk about identifying the horse. What about the athlete? Can I call them athletes?
You can call them athletes.
The jockeys,
the jockeys are athletes.
So how are the jockeys qualified? Or do we identify them, or is it just any racer? Is there a training program?
No, there's not a training program per se. Okay, so there is a selection of the horses. So if you don't ride thoroughbreds, we cannot just take you and bring you on a thoroughbred and try to ride it on a race day. That won't happen. Okay, your category, your horses as well. If you don't have a thoroughbred, you can't ride a thoroughbred in a race. Okay, so what it is, beforehand, and we've done that already. We've done the classification of the horses, and we decide, okay, this horse is a Creole horse, so it's going to ride in a Creole horse race. The half breeds, and we come together as an organization, because the race that we're having on the weekend, we have people from all around the island. It's a self-initiative, it's a Southern Equestrian initiative, but it's a collaborative effort. So we have horses from up north and from the east and the west and all over the place. Okay, but it's just that it's happening in the south. So we've come together and said, hey, listen, let's classify the horses. We've registered them. I mean, it's not a professional thing, but at the same time, it's not a avocati papier kind of stuff. There's a structure to what we're doing. So we know what we're doing. We've come together, we've agreed. Those are the horses these are the races that they're going to ride in, and we take it from there.
And of course, you said most of your jockeys are self-trained or communal trained. How does that work?
Both. So a young guy growing up, he's just passionate about horses, and maybe his family has horses, so he grew up being around horses and learning to ride, and then gradually he gets more into it, and then he gets mentored by the elders or by his family members and so on. And some others, they just get training now with internet access and everything. Guys could go online and see training videos and so on. But we have some guys here who've been trained overseas as well, even regionally, and they came back and they've been able to pass on their training and teach younger guys coming up and so on. Even a few weeks ago, we brought some guys on the base, and we're looking at the way they ride, and we had mentors there, we had the elders there to look and say, hey, do this that way and do this that way to just improve the skill and so on, because it's a learning process.
Stick around, more with Choix when we come back.
Having trouble with temperature in your home or establishment? Feeling uncomfortable and need some relief? Optimum Cooling would love to help. You deserve a contractor that is experienced, skilled, and affordable. Call Optimum Cooling today. We offer a wide range of all your HVAC needs. That includes maintenance, repairs, supply, installation, consultation, as well as any other refrigeration services, both domestic and commercial. At Optimum Cooling, we would love to meet with you to determine how we can help. Follow Optimum Cooling on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our website today. We look forward to hearing from you.
Winners TV is proud to bring to you Strictly Football. 1 hour of exciting football action from around the globe, taking all the highlights from St. Lucia, the English Premier League, La Liga in Spain, Ligue 1 in France, the Bundesliga in Germany, and even the Jamaica Premier League. Follow your favorite teams. You don't ever have to miss a goal. Just tune in to Winners TV at 8:30 p.m. every Monday for all the weekend action, and Thursdays for the week's updates. Winners TV brings all the action to you. It's Strictly Football, the action-packed highlight show, keeping you abreast with what's happening in the world of football. Winners TV is proud to bring to you Strictly Football. 1 hour of exciting football action from around the globe, taking all the highlights from St. Lucia, the English Premier League, La Liga in Spain, Ligue 1 in France, the Bundesliga in Germany, and even the Jamaica Premier League. Follow your favorite teams. You don't ever have to miss a goal. Just tune in to Winners TV at 8:30 p.m. every Monday for all the weekend action, and Thursdays for the week's updates. Winners TV brings all the action to you. It's Strictly Football, the action-packed highlight show, keeping you abreast with what's happening in the world of football.
Wednesday night, Choix, enjoying the Castry Strip.
Absolutely.
Choix, we're talking about training of the jockeys. Are there any certification courses that the jockeys need to do to be able to ride at that level, or to even improve in their craft?
At this point, no. We don't have that just yet. I mean, those are things that we're going to implement. Can I say that though? No, at this point, no. But it is something that we're going to be looking at, something we're going to be implementing in the near future. As I said, some of the jockeys, they've already been trained. I mean, just from being around horses and being mentored by elders and so on. But there's some things that we need to formalize. As an association, we're not quite there yet. But if we have to wait for everything to fall into place, we're not going to move forward. So we're going to start somewhere, keep going, and as we go along, we're going to make the necessary changes and implement things to make it better.
And along that same line of thought, workshops, get educational opportunities for people who just want to learn more about, apart from riding, people who want to learn about the equestrian lifestyle and maybe support it in other aspects?
Absolutely, absolutely. We as I said, the time is limited. We have the association has a program that will be rolling out gradually, and of course, as the resources come along to allow us to do workshops and trainings and that kind of stuff, we will be doing that to make our members even better. Because, I mean, we're looking at the whole person. You know, you're just not looking at somebody as they're a jockey and that's all they're going to do. I mean, we want to be putting programs in place to empower them, make them better. Because right now it's not a full-time thing for them. They do it for the love of it. It's not paying you a salary. It probably is not a livelihood for you, but it's a passion that you have. And hopefully we could take that and make it something even better down the road.
You mentioned livelihoods. Are the races financially compensating?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So for the races, all the races, there's a cash prize, and the first place are going to get trophies.
Can you divulge the cash prize?
As much as up to $1,000 per race, maybe even more. And a lot of that is dependent on the monies that we get for sponsorship on our own funds and so on. But we're going to have races where the first prize will be as much as $1,000, if not more. And as well as a trophy and maybe some other stuff.
We talked about, the development of the jockey, certifying and educating. But what about the horses? I know they're free categories, but do the horses need to be certified? Do they need to be tested?
Yeah, the horses, well, the owners themselves do a lot of that. So we do.
And what are we testing for, by the way?
Well, we're testing for the overall health of the animal. Because you don't want to bring a horse there and it's not in good shape, it's not ready to run and all of that. The horsemen themselves would know, because why would you want to chance your horse and take it into a race and then an environment that's not conducive and you end up hurting it, because it's going to cost you. Okay, so on the day we expect the vet to be there as backup and so on. But as I said, even before the race, we've had our team of people there to see the horses, to classify them. The owners know their horses, they know where they stand, and some of them we've seen them on video and pictures and all that. So we've assessed them. So it's not a case of nobody's going to be allowed to just come there on the day and race. That's not going to happen. Before the race, we've seen the horses, we've inspected them, so to speak. They've been certified, quote unquote.
They've been vetted.
Yeah, they've been vetted. We use that term, and then that's how we're going to go about doing it.
Culturally, when you see the young people riding, young men, women, whoever rides, you see them, especially for Junior Creole, they ride, I believe the term is bareback.
Yeah, bareback.
And of course, you mentioned earlier off camera that requires a particular skill set.
Yeah.
But in terms of safety, what policies will you all be putting in place in terms of safety for the animal and the rider to protect both of them, as well as the people observing the sport?
The association already, we were very close to the point of making it mandatory that you have to have your saddle to ride and so on. But at the race on Sunday, you're going to be riding with your saddle naturally and all the protective gear that you need and whatever have you. But it's not always possible. Bareback riding, for those who need to understand, it really just means riding a horse without a saddle. That's what it means. It's a special skill. Yeah, people in other countries and so on, they don't know that. They from time they've known a horse, they ride with saddles and so on, and but for some people, they come and they see that and they're like, wow, that's amazing. It's a special skill. It requires a special mindset and training and all that kind of stuff. But for some of our jockeys, it becomes almost native, because that's what they know. Because we could not always afford a saddle. Like you playing any other sport. You're playing football, you didn't always afford a pair of football boots and your shin guards and all that. So you may do with what you have. But then if you could go from that level and then you get onto a saddle and so on, it makes it a lot easier for you to ride a horse and do whatever it is you need to do for us. In terms of safety and all of that for our patrons, the audience, the spectators who want to be on there, we're going to have barriers. You know, we're going to be fencing, well, not fencing off, but we're going to have barriers, so people are not going to be allowed to just run across the track and get hurt and so on. We're going to have the fire service, the emergency medical services. We're going to have all those things on board. So it's not a case of just what we call in a local palace a vi kind of stuff. No, all those things have to be put in place. And by law, you have to have those things. So we had to go through all the processes of applying to NEMO and ECHO and solid waste management and the chief medical officer and the fire service and the police. So it's not a I mean, it's a long process to put those things. So some people come and they think, those guys just doing this thing, and no, but we've had to go through a lot of paperwork and legalese and all that kind of stuff, you know, to put these things in place. So of course the safety of our jockeys and the spectators is priority number one. It goes without saying. But of course we cannot take that for granted. We have to ensure that we put measures in place to protect everyone on the day.
The saddles, cost-wise, what are we looking at? And can they be sourced locally, or must we always import them?
For the most part, we import saddles. I mean, a saddle could go anywhere from, even today, a guy was posting a saddle $1,000, $1,000 EC. So, as you say, it is expensive, but, you know, some people find a way, and then we make do with what we have.
In terms of this weekend, apart from the racing, will there be anything else that's been featured?
All right, so this weekend, I personally like to term it as a horse racing exhibition and family fun day. Okay, because quite apart from the horse racing, which will be the main attraction, we are going to have entertainment, musical entertainment. We're going to have the DJ. We're going to have, for the kids, we're going to have an area where we choral, and then we're going to have people taking kids around on the horses, getting them to become more familiarized with the horses and put them and give them a ride on the horses. We're also going to have we're going to have the vendors with your drinks and your eats and that kind of stuff. And we're going to have possibly bouncing castles and, you know, the usual entertainment to keep people going. And we're going to be making some announcements on there. We're going to be honoring some of our past horsemen and so on. So it's going to be a full gamut of entertainment and so on. So it's not just about the horse racing, but we're trying to provide a bit of entertainment for everybody.
Stick around. More Choix when we return after these messages.
For the best cricket updates, analysis, and an in-depth look at the sport around the world, tune in live to Winners TV every Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. for Cricket Nation, the only show dedicated to cricket in St. Lucia. From the nations to the clubs, the leagues, and the players, Cricket Nation is your window to the world of cricket. So be a part of the nation every Tuesday, live from 8:30 p.m. on Winners TV.
Having trouble with temperature in your home or establishment? Feeling uncomfortable and need some relief? Optimum Cooling would love to help. You deserve a contractor that is experienced, skilled, and affordable. Call Optimum Cooling today. We offer a wide range of all your HVAC needs. That includes maintenance, repairs, supply, installation, consultation, as well as any other refrigeration services, both domestic and commercial. At Optimum Cooling, we would love to meet with you to determine how we can help. Follow Optimum Cooling on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our website today. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to Winners Sports Beat.
For the most comprehensive sports news broadcast, tune in to Winners Sports Beat, weeknights at 7:30 p.m. Sports Beat features the latest scores, news highlights, and interviews that keeps sports fans informed on what's happening in sports. Winners Sports Beat, captures the pulse of the sports world. Watch SportsBeat for exclusive inside information and breaking news on what's really happening behind the scenes. SportsBeat covers the big games, the big plays, and the big wins. Watch Winners SportsBeat weeknights at 7:30 p.m. with daily repeats.
Wednesday night, Opinionated. Sure, with any product, we need to benchmark. We mentioned the Garrison, we mentioned Jamaica, and it's not even the older islands. Antigua's doing well. St. Vincent actually has a program. When we look at, and we'll use the Garrison, for example, as a benchmark that we could probably attain because of course traveling, and Martinique right around the corner. How far do you believe that we are from getting where you think is an acceptable stage in development of your product?
In terms of a timeline, in terms of years, I think with the right amount of resources, 3-4 years away. I honestly believe that. You know, I mean, we have people who are so committed to the sport that we could take it to the next level. But naturally, we need the resources to put things in place. I mean, the DSH project is there. If we could have gotten into it, maybe, who knows, it would change the fortune of horse racing in St. Lucia.
So but infrastructure definitely would play a
part.
Definitely.
In
terms of the quality of the race, I guess, and the times. Second thing is, I would like to ask you, since we on the mention of infrastructure, televising or bringing your sport to a wider audience, how does that play a part in developing horse racing?
Luckily for us, I mean, with social media and so on, we could leverage that. We could use cell phones to, you know, use a Facebook Live and get it out there and so on. But of course, we want to make it as big and as broad as possible to appeal to many people as possible. At this point, I mean, we're probably not able to get a full crew on board to come and record and do all of that kind of stuff. But the possibilities are there to expand the sport, to make it more widespread, to make it more well known. Because when people don't know, they just don't know. But when they get to know and understand the sport, then you get the support that you need. And we have some successes, and people say, hey, listen, yeah, of course, it's possible. What I think is that just like we did and we are doing, what we need is more collaboration. People might not understand it. Though, as I said, the event is happening in the South, but it's hosted by the Southern Equestrian Association. It's really a collaborative effort. Okay, we have NUSA, we have the St. Lucia Equestrian and Racing Association. They're on board. We have other organizations on board. That's what we need. We need to come together, strength in unity, as one of the groups said. Strength in unity. The more we come together as a unit, we leave the South and we go and support the guys up north or in the east or in the west, whatever part of the island, you know, you need to take care of your opponents. Okay, they're not adversaries, they're opponents. We come together and we could do something, and it's going to augur well for the sport as a whole.
We talk about access and resources, and of course, sponsorship, that the deadly S word comes up. What do you believe that you can partner with your potential sponsors and offer them that would want them to come on board?
The whole thrust of this particular race that we're having on the weekend, the race on the base as we've called it, is we want to create an impact in the community because of, I don't even like to use the term, but all the crime and all that.
Yeah, we had some incidents.
But what we can offer our sponsors is visibility in terms of advertising, like as you're gonna be seeing on Sunday and so on. And what has really happened in the last few days, the corporate community has come on board because they want to be seen, and they want to know that, hey, listen, we could do something in the community to bring our people together. Because for the corporate community, they just want to be able to have the business and serve the clientele. That's all it is. For an ordinary person like me, I want to be able to just walk the streets of Vieux Fort or Cache Street by extension, or anywhere in St. Lucia, and just want to know that it's normal. So if putting corporate dollars into that event is going to help that, then let's do it. Now, somebody who lives in Cap Estate, the furthest point from Vieux Fort, might say, there's unsavory things happening in Vieux Fort. I'm going to stay far away from it. But if you really look at it, the richest people in Cap Estate very likely are the people who would be traveling internationally. Where do they have to come? They have to come to Vieux Fort. They have to come use the international airport in Vieux Fort. I mean, you could get caught in a crossfire. We're not saying that That is what's going to happen. But you could never look at something in isolation and say, no, that's not going to affect me. Okay, there's a saying that goes something, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. When they came for the Jews, I did nothing because I'm not a Jew. When they came for the Christians, I did nothing because I'm not a Christian. But when they came for me, no one was there to help me because I never help anybody else thinking that I am an island, I live alone. No, we're all interconnected. One way or the other, something unsavory is happening in one part of the island is going to affect us. One way or the other.
So you're using corporate to plant the seeds?
To plant the seeds, to say, hey, listen, if we take care of this thing now, if we support the young people and put them into positive channels, a few weeks from now, a few years from now, we're going to see the benefit of it. If you think of it in isolation and say, no, I'm not going to put my money in that, it's going to come back to haunt you. Because the neighborhood that you live in that you think is gated, at some point you have to interact with the rest of the community. So you plant that seed, you take care of the community, you play a part, and then it's going to be to the benefit of us all.
And of course, the other part of it that a lot of people are curious about, we see it in Trinidad, we see it in Jamaica, we see it in Barbados, off-track betting.
The betting, yes.
Is that part of the long-term plans or the short-term plans moving forward?
It's part of the medium-term plans of the association. It goes without saying that is a big part of it. However, we just don't have the manpower or womanpower at this point, and especially for this revival, as we call it, to put those things in place. But naturally, there's going to be informal betting at the races. People are going to be doing
the Creole, man.
Yeah, you understand? It's going to happen.
Do it for the culture.
But in the future, of course, we're looking to put those things in place, and we're naturally going to have to talk with the NLA, the National Lotteries Authority, and the other organizations responsible to give us the permission to do that. So, moving forward, absolutely.
And again, you want to provide details on the location and the date of the event?
Absolutely. So this coming weekend, Sunday the 22nd of October, 2023, we're going to have what we titled the Race on the Base. It's a horse race exhibition and family fun day at what people call the Kakabef in Vieux-Fort. Okay, the old runway, that's what we know it as, in Vieux-Fort, behind the airport. There's so many descriptions.
You can figure out where I got that name, right?
Yeah, we could figure out where of course. And so we want the public to come out in large numbers and support. We're putting on something that the whole thrust of that is to create what we believe to be the catalyst for great things to come. We want to show the community, we want to show St. Lucia by extension, that we could put on a community vibe that's going to bring people together and create that atmosphere that, hey, it is safe to be in Vieux-Fort. We could come together, we could bring people together, we could, meet people from up north, from down south, wherever the case is. Let's come together, let's create something positive. Let's say, hey, listen, if we come together, we could take a bite out of crime, make things better for ourselves and so on. And that is what the whole thrust is. So we want people to come out and come support our young jockeys, come support everything that's happening on the base.
So
on Sunday.
You mentioned some of the young jockeys. So who are any names that we should be looking out for as we come down there? Any names of the jockeys or even horses?
Oh man, can I name some of the horses? Well, the horse, I don't want to name some and not name the others. Some people are, but there's a horse to look out for. It's W Surprise.
W Surprise.
Now I chose that name because people love surprises, and for me it's called W Surprise. But I said, what a surprise!
What a surprise!
So look out for the surprise.
And in terms of, you mentioned we have some jockeys that are, I guess, Barbados. And any of these regional boys coming back and perform?
No, I don't think that they're gonna be coming back. But it would be nice to have them. But I'm not sure. At this point, we cannot say for certain that they're going to be coming back, but it would be nice to see them. They're from
and the local
hometown.
lads, anybody in particular that name we should be looking out for?
No, I'm not going to name any names. Come out and support and see.
Keeping everything in the bag?
Yeah, we're keeping everything in the bag for the time being. But honestly, we believe it's going to be a great event. We've already seen successes, and of course, we want to thank all the corporate sponsors who've come on board and those who've not come on board as well. It's not too late to come out and support us. I mean, I don't want to bash anybody or call any names and embarrass anybody, but you know yourselves. Come out and support and give a hand, and let's have a wonderful activity.
So let me ask you a question. So apart from the races, it's just first across the line?
No.
Is there a different judging criteria?
You mean how we judge who wins?
Yeah.
Yes, first across the line.
First across the line?
First across the line. As I was guessing you asked me, is only first place? No, we have first, second, and third places. And maybe one of the races, we might just have a winner takes all and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's First across the line.
People who are interested in attending or participating, are the tickets to buy?
No, it's a free event. That's the thing. It's an open event to the public. We won't be charging you any tickets and so on, unlike, So come out and support. Come out and support. The organization, of course, we need money, we need funds. But this time around, it's an open event to allow the community to come together and come and support. And
so you mentioned using social media, a website that people can check into to keep abreast of it, or even if they can't make it, peeping on the activities?
Yeah, we've got our Facebook page, Salvin Equestrian. So you just type in Facebook Salvin Equestrian Association, and you should get it. Look it up. We have some other promotional material. Well, we've reached out to the media houses and so on. I cannot tell you all of those who may have or may have not.
That's okay.
But that is based on the resources that we have. That's how we went about doing it.
What are you hoping that the equestrian community and, of course, the general public, apart from just the community vibe, but take away from this weekend?
Two things. The main thrust, and we keep pushing that, is that we want to do something to make our community better. There's no two ways about it. That's the first thing. I mean, the horse race, if you want to call it, no disrespect, is a byproduct. It's a metaphor. We want to say, hey, listen, this is a catalyst for doing great things in our community. We could do something to bring people together. So let this be what this is, that people come back and say, hey, I went to this event in Vieux-Fort, and it was fun. People are having fun. It was playful. It was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I felt safe. I felt comfortable. I met people I hadn't seen in a long time. There was a really good community feel, a good vibe around the whole session. And, that could be replicated in other sports, in other activities, in other communities, and around the island. We want people to take that away. Secondly, we want people to see, hey, what's possible? Because we as an association, we really don't have anything. It was, if you want to call it, a pipe dream. But we were determined, we were persistent. And we said, listen, we're going to make a start. We didn't have heavy equipment, we didn't have funds, we didn't have anything. But we made a start. We started with our cutlasses and our rakes and so on, cutting bushes and, writing letters to different organizations, writing to get permission to use the base and so on. And we made it happen. And we're already seeing successes even before the races happen. Corporate community, I keep saying it, this lady who could come, who is a one-person business, she has a hairdressing salon, and she came on board and said, hey, I'm giving money to support this cause. We've got other sponsors who came on board, even a day like today. We got somebody who came on board and said, I'm going to sponsor an entire race. So that race is going to be in the name. You understand? So I think great things are happening. As I said, the other thing I was really happy with, as I tell you, is seeing those young guys coming on the base last Sunday. Like 20 of them coming there, some with their horses, some coming just to see what's going on and say, hey, okay, all right, okay. And a guy on the spot, they're saying, man, I've got my horse, I want to be part of this. So this is what we're hoping to come out of Sunday's event. And we want to let the public know that this is not a be-all and end-all. We have other programs that we want to be put in place, even if it's on a monthly basis, to get young people together and take them to riding stables and get them to see horses and, do some training, some workshop and all that kind of stuff. That's coming.
You mentioned the Good Samaritans who came on board at the last minute. And if there are any out there who want to come and either volunteer, support, or even sponsor any equestrian events coming up, how can they get in contact with you or the association?
Well, they on the Facebook page, of course, or they could call me or call our president, Mr. Garner Simon. He's on 714-7249. I am on 712-6449.
Lastly, of course, you just said it before, but is there anything that you want to say to your public out there?
Of course, the public, of course, I'd like you guys to come out and support us in a big way. Come out and come out in numbers. Come out and have some good, clean fun. And those who are able to and are willing to, come out and support us in cash or in kind. We're open to that. And come show support to the young people. It's not just about horse racing. It's about the community. It's about the vibe. It's about showing that, hey, listen, we could make St. Lucia a better place. We're using sport, in this case, horse racing, as a medium to get to where we want to go. And we want to, hopefully, as I said, be a catalyst for other things to happen in the community and around St. Lucia. So we want to implore that you come and support us. Thank you.
My brother Choix, it's been a long time. Thank you so much for coming to spend your Wednesday night with me. Safe trip back on the Vieux-Fort.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a long flight. And I know, big up the president for coming. Of course, he's in the back room with the boys. And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the boys in the back room as well. The Lone Ranger for making it happen every night, that's Johnny. And of course, Bagger Rhythms. And as always, Winners TV every Wednesday night, Opinionated. Stick around. There's more Winners TV when you come back.